John Joseph Pombe Magufuli, Tanzania's fifth president, was laid to rest on Friday at his ancestral home in Chato Geita, northwest of Tanzania. Magufuli had been honored by several states since his passing on March the 17th. Several countries, among them Kenya, Uganda and Rwanda, had observed a national day of mourning. UN officers across the world flew flags half-mast in honor of the former president. To discuss his legacy and the challenges facing the new president, Samia Suluhu Hasaan, we're joined now by Tanzanian Journalist and Researcher Sammy Awami. Sammy, very good morning. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika. Thank you for your time. Let's talk about this giant of a man who really sparked some controversy on one aspect, but lauded for the excellence since he was in office from 2015.
Indeed, you described it quite accurate, really. Magufuli legacy divides opinion here quite a lot, because within just 5 years or 6 years, he's had so much impact in the country in a way that probably many other past presidents have never done that. And depending on who you ask, this impact is both negative and positive. There are so many things that Magufuli is praised for doing for Tanzania, and that will last for a long time. But there are also a lot of bad things, some people would say, that he's done for Tanzania within just a very short period of time. So yes, his legacy will be something that will be discussed with different opinions for so many years from now.
Let's talk about this legacy that he leaves behind. We're learning that he swept corruption and incompetence from the bureaucracy and rechanneled government revenues, wasted on graft and all sorts of aspects there. Give us more depth on the kind of work he did and what he'll be remembered for.
Magufuli came into power with a promise to fight corruption. He said that right from the beginning, and we started seeing that, I think, in the first week or month when he started cancelling, when he started visiting hospitals, for instance, making surprise visits when he visited government offices unannounced, asking people where this person is, what are you doing, what are the challenges and things like that. And then he cancelled, for instance, foreign trips, unnecessary foreign trips for ministers and other governments, and saying that they're just wasting money. And so he, right from the beginning, he even started a special court that prosecutes corruption in the country. So these are some of the things that he promised during his campaign before he was elected, and he went ahead and implemented them right from the beginning. But then on the other side, while he was doing this, he also clamped down on so many other areas. For instance, the media. He's famously quoted by saying that he warning the editors that if you think you have freedom to do or publish whatever that you like, then be careful, because something will happen. And then in the years to come, we started seeing journalists disappearing. A friend of mine, for instance, until today, we don't know where he is, and that's Azori Rwanda. He was investigative journalist, and he's disappeared, and we don't know where he is until today. But so many other journalists as well, have been in trouble just because of their work. We know newspapers being, clamped down or shut down or suspended indefinitely and things like that. He cancelled, for instance, public rallies for opposition, and saying that elections are over and we have to get back to work instead of campaigning all the time. And so people have been questioning, like, if Magufuli really wanted to clamp down on corruption, why is he inhibiting others like the media who could have helped him really to unveil all this corruption in the government and within the society. So it was very contradicting, really. On one hand, he says he's fighting corruption. On the other hand, he's undermining those who in one way or another would help him, to unveil all these things. But at the same time, he has launched a lot of strategic infrastructure projects. As we speak, there is a ongoing construction of the first electric railway in Tanzania, and that's a major project which we believe is going to revolutionize, our economy. There is a construction of hydroelectric power, the biggest in this region, and that is going to help a lot with the electricity in the country and the economy at large. And so you have these two situations. You have one person who is really oppressing on others, and then on the other side, you have a person who is doing a lot of things which are helping the country. And so the biggest question has been why did Magufuli have to make people choose, between democracy and development, really?
To many critics, Sammy, Magufuli's legacy will be remembered mainly for the manner he handled COVID-19 in his last year in office, the way in which he chose to perhaps even deny its very existence. How much of an impact, or perhaps a dent, did that denial and resistance have on Tanzania and the memories of Magufuli?
It's going to have a huge impact in Tanzania because in his last days, he even denounced the vaccine. And so even the new president, who's just coming now, even though she will want to change course and say, maybe let's order a vaccine and start a new page. Really, it's going to be difficult because already people's perceptions have been corrupted quite badly. So that is going to be quite a difficult task, really, for the new president, just because of the conspiracy theories that Magufuli, throw in with regards to vaccine and coronavirus at large. But if you look at how he generally approached the coronavirus, you can see that he's approached it in a very consistent way, as he's done with so many other policies. Portraying himself as a Pan-Africanist, portraying himself as a nationalist. He's telling people you can use. Encouraging people to use herbal medicine, him being, Pan-Africanist and telling people that we have to be careful with what we're being told or being sent by foreigners. He even alleged that our testing kits were compromised by foreigners, him being nationalist. And we've seen these, these ideas even in other things, the way he approached for instance, the deals in mining contracts and other investment in the country. And so when you look at how he approached coronavirus, it was still within the same line, being suspicious of the West, him being Pan-Africanist, being very, very nationalist. And so to most of us, we were not really surprised that he took that approach based on what we've seen him, do in the last 5-6 years. We were just, really shocked to see that he could go that far with regards to conspiracy theories and really disregard all the advices from scientists.
And this, of course, leaves Samia Suluhu Hasaan, a big role to fulfill here. She faces a mammoth challenge in managing her predecessor's legacy, especially his COVID-19 denialism. I suppose the big question is, will she aim to fill Magufuli's shoes or perhaps just walk a completely new path altogether?
Indeed, she has quite a huge task ahead of her, but based on her background and the way she's done things in the past, many people here have confidence that she will do just fine. But at the moment, she has a lot of things to navigate through. She has a new cabinet to make. She has appointments with vice president and all of that. There's a lot of politics, I should say, within her own party that she'll have to negotiate. And so there will be a lot of things for her to navigate before she can get through the COVID, the COVID question. But again, I'm sure she would want, and she has said this in several times within the last few days when she's speaking to the public about Magufuli, she has promised to continue the legacy of President Magufuli. How that looks is something that we are all going to, we're very curious to see how that is going to turn out, because she has consistently promised that she will continue Magufuli's legacy. And we know that part of Magufuli's legacy is denying COVID, questioning vaccination and things like that. And so whether she would want to continue that line, which will be quite controversial, not just within the country, but also in the region and the international community. And if she wants to start afresh and go with the way the world go, it will also be controversial within her own party and the people who supported Magufuli, who we know will still be around within the government for quite a while. So she has such a huge and difficult task ahead of her.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. Sammy Awami, Tanzanian journalist and researcher, giving us a sense of the legacy that President John Magufuli leaves behind, as well as the role of the next new president, Samia Suluhu Hasaan, and of course the challenges that she faces in her new position.